Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kindly take out three bench judgment of the Supreme Court, that is Adalat Prasad versus Rupal Jindal and others. Yeah, this was the judgment. This is the judgment of the Supreme Court, Adalat Prasad versus Rupal Jindal, which was given on 25th of August 2004. The bench was Justice Santosh Hegde, Justice S.B. Sinha, and Justice A.K. Mathur. So these are three judge bench judgment, and whereas the earlier bench in K.M. Matthews was a two bench judge, that is of Justice Shetty and Justice Dayal. This is interesting to note that here the defamation matter which was tried by the bench of K.M. Matthews bench was strictly a summons case, where the punishment is not recorded more than 2 years. But this judgment of Supreme Court in Adalat Prasad versus Rupal Jindal was in fact is a case, a warrant case, which was filed before a magistrate in Delhi under the provisions of, you can say, section 120A, 120B, 405. Oh, yes, सब conspiracy charges हैं, 120A, 120B, 405 breach of trust definition, 406 breach of trust punishable up to 3 years, 405 is the definition of cheating, 420 is punishable up to 7 years, 463, 465, 468, these all fabrication of account forgery के लिए, where the punishment is more than 3 years. So in summons substance, this is not a summons case. This is a warrant triable case by the magistrate, otherwise done in a police report, isn't it? अभी आपको दिखाया मैंने how the magistrate tries the cases, warrant cases. Trial before a magistrate 238 से लेकर 243 deals with the trial of warrant cases in cases institute report. This appears to be a private complaint filed before a Delhi magistrate's court in a warrant case where cheating, misappropriation, forgery. So this will be a trial of the before a magistrate under cases instituted otherwise than police report in chapter number 19 CrPC from section 244 to section 250. Now let us see the facts of this case. Why Adalat Prasad is overruling. Adalat Prasad, which is based on a warrant complaint, is overruling the judgment of K.M. Matthew, which is based on summon cases. I would like you to see the brief narration of fact, which I will take you through. See the judgment given by Justice Santosh Hegde. They are mentioning this is an appeal by leave against the judgment of the High Court of Delhi, wherein the High Court allowed the said revision petition setting aside the order of the trial court and remanded the matter to the court for disposal in accordance with law. It appears the magistrate had taken cognizance of the order and complaint under section 200. A revision was filed against the order, that is under section 401 CrPC. High Court appears to have set aside the order, then remanded the matter for disposal. Let us see. The first respondent herein filed a complaint under 120A, 120B, 405 till 65 against the petitioner, against the appellant and others for alleging that the respondents have cheated and defrauded him. So it's a cheating case, a warrant tribal case. Taking cognizance of the complaint on 26/5/92, the London magistrate summoned the accused herein and accused issuing process under 204. So you know that the moment the magistrate take cognizance under section 200, he will examine the complainant and the witnesses. So though it may be a warrant triable case, the process can be issued by issuing summons, or that we learned under section 60, 61 or under 87, warrant can be issued. So the London magistrate exercise the discretion of issuing summons. For the offences under section 420 and 120B, both are warrant triable cases. Please note that here. Under section 204 mean he has taken cognizance. Issuing process. The learned magistrate has applied his mind. Yes, in my opinion, prima facie case is made out. Of course, various sections of the IPC have been quoted. 120B, 120A, 120B, where you require sanction of the authorities. Naturally, it cannot be given like this. 405, 465, they have been omitted. Only 420 cheating is 120B, where the leave is not required, permission that has been recorded. Then agreed by the order issuing process, appellant and the son of the accused moved the High Court, and the High Court in the petition direct that the petitioner herein to move the trial court against the order of summoning. Oh, according to me, the accused person had rightly moved the High Court under Article 227 or 482 for quashing. But for some strange reasons, maybe following the judgment of K.M. Matthews' case, the Honorable High Court Judge, the Delhi High Court Judge, may be under the impression that since summons have been issued and send back the matter to go to the magistrate, he has got power following judgment of the K.M. Matthew and tried. So according to me, it is whatever may be the order of the Delhi High Court, it is not in accordance with law, because K.M. Matthew is dealing with summon trial cases where the two bench judges of the Supreme Court took the view that the magistrate has power to drop the proceeding. But in the cases of warrant trial, probably magistrate must be under the impression, yes, correctly so, there is a power to discharge under section 250 CrPC. Please open this, a matter of warrant triable case. When you open section 245, खोलिए. When accused shall be discharged. See, cases 244 क्या कहता है? Cases instituted otherwise than police report. This is starting with the chapter 19, trial of warrant cases. So there is a specific provision when accused shall be discharged. So probably the Delhi High Court has rightly sent back to the matter to the magistrate, since there is a power under section 245 for discharge. Please note that. The magistrate, that the order of the magistrate summons to the High Court on the ground that magistrate has no jurisdiction to recall. Yes, I am sorry. Moved the High Court, and in the said petition, trial court against it. Pursuant to the order of the High Court, the appellant have filed the application purported to be under 203 CPC on and the trial by order dated so and so. After hearing the parties, recall the said order. But there is one mistake the appellant has made it here. Instead of making application under section 245, they made the application under 203, which is applicable to summons cases, trial of summon cases. 203 खोलेंगे यहाँ पे, it doesn't apply to, it applies to summon cases where the magistrate, after taking cognizance, when you see section 203, so there is a misunderstanding of law on the part of the complainant in here. So under section 203, dismissal of complaint. See that if after considering the statement on oath, if any, the complainant witnesses and the result of the inquiry, investigation, if any, under 202, magistrate is of the opinion that there is no sufficient ground of proceeding, he shall dismiss the complaint and in any case shall briefly record the reason for. Now, with great respect, there is a great misunderstanding in Adalat Prasad's case, invoking section 203 in a warrant triable case. Section 203 can be invoked only under section 200 cases. In a summon triable case, that 203 come into play when the learned magistrate either takes cognizance under 200, he does not take cognizance under 200, or after perusing the report of the inquiry report under 201, that is a competent magistrate. Then under 202, considering the police report, he finds that no case is made out, no point in calling out the summoning the accused. Prima facie, no case is made out. At the very threshold, the magistrate exercises the power to dismiss the complaint without calling the accused. Please note that. Without, this is a section 203 applicable only in summons trial cases under 3. But unfortunately, when the High Court directed the accused to make an application, the accused advocates have not taken into consideration provisions of section 45 for discharge, which should have been made. Instead of making 245, they make application under 203. Now, when it is made, let us see what happened. Then the learned magistrate, recalling the summons originally issued him, challenge before the court, recall the summons. So, unfortunately, rightly or wrongly, according to me wrongly, the magistrate recalled the summons. The magistrate should not have recalled because it is not a summons case. Magistrate must be under the erroneous impression that since the Adalat Prasad's matter is there, I am recalling it. That may be the reason according to me, but it is not mentioned there. When recall order is passed, under the CrPC, I told you that there is no provision for recall. Review will not lie. I have just given you right now the provisions of CrPC, which I will discuss with you. Unlike the CPC, CrPC can the review provision hai nahi hai. When you see section 362, the 362 kholi at this stage, I want to tell you. Why? Because there is no recall is a review. 362 kholiye. Section 362 CrPC. Yeah. Court not to alter judgment. Recall is altering. Read it here. Save as otherwise provided by this court or by any other law for the time being in force. No court, when it has signed its judgment or a final order disposing of a case, shall alter or review the same except to correct clerical or arithmetical errors. So clearly there is a blanket ban in the power of the criminal court. Neither the session judge nor the magistrate's court, nor even the High Court has power of a review, alteration of the judgment. Of course, High Court has power under 482, which is very vast power. But the Court of Session and Magistrate do not have this power. So it appears the magistrate has recalled the order here. So he has not taken cognizance of section 362. But probably he has only been impressed by the judgment of K.M. Matthews' judgment of the Supreme Court. He has passed his order. Now let us see further. The said order of the magistrate recalling the summons originally issued by him was challenged before the High Court on the ground that magistrate has no jurisdiction to recall the summons and issued section 205. The High Court, by the impugned order, has allowed the revision petition, holding that the trial court was justified in taking cognizance of the offence under 402 TP and erred in recalling consequent summons issued because the said order did not have the power to review its own order. This is a correct proposition of law. What I mentioned to you, what is read, I know. So subsequent challenge to the High Court in the revision under 401 or 482 proceeding, the High Court has taken the view that yes, magistrate having once taken cognizance of a complaint, he cannot dismiss it under section 204 later on. 204 invoke करने के बाद process then he cannot go back to 203. Ulta steps he cannot go back. 204 में summons issue किया, process ले लिए, then upon the direction that the High Court rightly or wrongly given, he goes back to trial court and makes application under 203 instead of making under section 245. That is discharge. Discharge में नहीं किया उन्होंने. An application which is normally made for dismissal by the magistrate's power under the cognizance in summons cases is made in a warrant case. So the High Court rightly said here the order was wrong. Then see, it is against the order of the High Court, the appellant is before us in this appeal. So when the High Court said that here, the magistrate has no power to dismiss the complaint under 203 when particularly it's a warrant case. And having taken cognizance earlier in issuing process under section 204. 204 आने के बाद you cannot pass order under 203. Either you have to elect and select at the time of the issuing process, taking cognizance, whether I should take cognizance or not. If I take cognizance, it is 204. If I don't take cognizance, it is dismissal under 203. That is not done. Then paragraph 3. When the appeal came up for hearing, learned counsel for the judgment in the case of K.M. Matthew. So it is the time the K.M. Matthew's judgment was pointed out to the Supreme Court in this matter. Pointing out when it was held that is open for the court issuing summons to recall the proceeding, the trial court itself so and so the K.M. Matthew's judgment, Nilambara's judgment, and however the case of Nalima Spra getting out, court was settled. Matthew's case was not decided large event. So Matthew's judgment was referred to larger bench for reconsideration in Nilamani Rotary versus Bennett Coleman India. Unfortunately, the judgment was settled. That matter was settled, and as such, Matthew was not retested. Therefore, the court directed the present matter before the three bench with a view to reconsider. The Honorable Chief Justice of the Supreme Court referred the matter of K.M. Matthew's case to the present bench of Justice Hegade's bench for reconsideration of Matthew's case. Probably they should have also formulated the point whether in a summons case or in a warrant case can you invoke. The formulation has not been contained. It has to be recalibrated. So according to me, the judgment of Adalat Prasad also, I will come to know, I will tell you what should be done, what step the Supreme Court should do by forming a larger bench and settle the cobwebs and doubts which are there in the legal mind, which are still lingering around in the minds of the judges, especially in the lower judiciary and in the minds of the lawyers concerned. Now, in that context, see, a notice about the correctness of the view expressed in the court was issued. Then see, it was held in Matthew's case, Supra, that section 204 of the, so I will not be reading it. This paragraph is dealing with the power of Matthew's case, magistrate under 204. I won't read this. Then next paragraph, it is the scene that Matthew's case, court held that issuing summons at 204 open for the magistrate. So I won't read this. So in a Matthew's case, the magistrate had power to set aside even if there is no specific provision. Then see, having heard the learned counsel for the parties and having considered the judgment of the court in the case of Matthew, we are unable to agree with the law laid down by this court in this case, in Matthew's case. So Matthew stands overruled here. Let us see the reasoning. If we can analyze the reasons given by this court in the said case of Matthew, then notice that the said view is based on following facts. Number one, the jurisdiction of the magistrate to issue process arises only if it contains allegation involving commission of the crime. Number one. B, if the process is issued without there being an allegation in the complaint involving the accused in the commission of the crime, it is open to the summoned accused to approach the court issuing summons and convince the court that there is no such allegation in the complaint which requires its summoning. So there is no allegation, the allegation is bereft of material. Number three, for so recalling the order of summons, no specific provision of law is required. So that is what the judgment of Justice Shetty and Justice Dayal, in KM Matthew, specific provision in CrPC you don't have. They said that there is no prohibition. There is also no prohibition in the CrPC for invoking the power to recall, because procedural law has to be construed in a liberal manner for advancing the cause of justice and not to impede justice. So they were very large hearted in that respect, whatever reason. Next, we will examine the above finding of this court in the background of the code, which provide for consideration of a complaint by magistrate before the magistrate, which is found in chapter 15 and 16 of the code. See, section 200 contemplates a magistrate taking cognizance of an offence of a complainant to examine the complaint, examine upon oath, examine the witnesses present, if any. So, the first course open for taking cognizance. Now, if upon oath examination of the complaint witness, if any magistrate, he does not want to postpone the issue, has to dismiss the complaint under section 203. So, if the magistrate is not satisfied after recording the evidence of the complainant and the witnesses, he can straight away dismiss the case. That is power under 203, rightly said so far. If he comes to the conclusion that the complainant, the statement of the complainant or the witness are not made out a sufficient ground for proceeding, per contra, if he is satisfied that there is no need for further inquiry and complaint, evidence adduced, just stage he material proceed, he can proceed to issue process under 204. That is, when he is satisfied that there is a material and record evidence, I am satisfied, then issues process. So before issuing process, notice to accused is not given. Accused person cannot complain. The principles of audi alteram partem are violated. Principles of natural justice are violated. So there is no room here at this stage. The principles of natural justice and audi alteram partem are kept in a cold storage for the accused. Accused person can only challenge the process after receiving summons and not before. He cannot complain. But whereas in the case of a revision, when a revision is filed under 397/401, the revisional court does not pass any order without hearing the both the parties. That will come later on to you. Then see that here. Yeah. Thereafter, what is necessary for a condition precedent for satisfaction of the magistrate, either by examining so and so 204. Yeah, okay. Then it is at this stage provided for the later provision. It is true as held by the magistrate in Matthew's case before issuance of I am sorry, something ek minute. So yeah, it is true as held by the learned magistrate in the case before the summons, the magistrate should be satisfied that there is sufficient ground for proceeding with the complaint, but the satisfaction is to be arrived at the inquiry conducted by him as contemplated under section 200 and 202, and then only at the stage of dismissal of the complaint at 203 stage come. So there has to be inquiry. Then if it is true that the magistrate take cognizance of the offence, the issue process without there being an allegation against the accused person under 202. Then in order the magistrate may be magistrate may be vitiated, then the relief in agreed accused person is invoking section 203 of the code, because CrPC does not contemplate a review of the order. See that, underline this word I told you. I have given you right now a provision in CrPC. There is no provision for review in CrPC. Whereas in CPC, I mentioned to you, civil courts have power of review under section 114 CPC, read with order 47. Okay, I will take you to later on. So all the civil courts have power of review. Please note that here. Small causes court, city civil court judge, district judge, high court exercising jurisdiction under the original site, civil judge, senior division, junior division, all of them have power of review. If you make an application to the judge, my lord, your lordship has passed a judgment and decree to mistake, there are obvious mistake, the statement of law is not correctly recorded, the document which is tendered is not exhibited, then the learned judge, civil judge can review the order and give the finding that is permissible under the scheme of order 47, rule 1 and 2 CPC and read with section 114. But it is not permissible under the CrPC. Section 362 CrPC bars any power of review. There is no power to recall. Please note that. That is what it has been discussed, which appears to have been overlooked by the bench of a K.M. Matthews case in this matter here. Now then come. Yes. 203 of the court does not contemplate review of the court. Hence, in the absence of any review power or inherent power with the subordinate criminal code, remedy lies in invoking under 482. So, as I pointed out to you, CrPC does not give review power neither to magistrate, not to session judge, not to high court. Inherent powers are given under 482 to only high court. Session court doesn't enjoy it, nor the magistrates court. So, in a remedy, when a complaint process has been issued by the magistrate, your remedy is to come under 482 to the high court on the ground that there is a gross abuse of the process of the court. There is a gross injustice to the accused. There are no allegations made. Like in Kanuga Rawat has made allegation that the defamation case filed by the complainant against me is erroneous. No material allegation. It doesn't make out a case. So you know that it's a proceeding pending in the High Court. So in the Bombay High Court, it is filed on the original and the appellate side of the High Court jurisdiction under 482 CrPC. That is how it is. That is one. Please note that here. Because review doesn't like. Then thereafter, in opinion, the observation of the court in the case of a Matthew that for recalling an order of issuance of process erroneously, no specific provision of law required would run counter to the scheme of the court, which has not provided review and prohibits interference at interlocutory stage. So the bench in Adalat Prasad said that we are not agreeable except the proposition laid down by Matthew's bench that in the absence of a specific provision, we have no power. So the Matthews bench went on the footing that here, even if there is no specific provision, the court can imply the power. By implication, the powers can be drawn. So the Adalat Prasad judgment, the three judges say that when there is no specific provision in the scheme of the, when there is no specific provision in the scheme of the act, when the scheme of the act and such a power cannot be given indirect. What could not be attained directly cannot be attained indirectly is the object seems to be here. See that here. Therefore, in your opinion, observation of this court in the case of Matthew for recalling the issue of process erroneously, no specific, no counter to the scheme of the court. Therefore, we are of the opinion that the view of the court in Matthew's case, no specific provision required for recalling an erroneous order amounting to one without jurisdiction and does not lay down the correct law in view of the conclusion necessary for us to go into the question so and so. So the three bench judge has set aside, overruled the two bench judgment of the Supreme Court. That was the ratio before this court. So mind you that here the matter which the Supreme Court tried in Adalat Prasad case is a warrant case. But the Supreme Court case can give observation both in warrant and summons cases. वो अलग बात है. That is because the magistrate himself has issued summons and there was a misunderstanding on the part. Now the next judgment which I would like to discuss is that here on the same point, the Supreme Court is see that. Ramasundram Setu's case. Yeah, Matthew होगा. Subramanyam Setu Raman ले लीजिए आप. This is also a very interesting judgment of the same bench, a three bench judge. Out of the three, earlier in Justice Matthews, Justice Mathu was there, Justice Hegde and Justice Sinha and Justice Chatterjee, Tarun Chatterjee. Now this is an interesting matter which went from Bombay. The fact this is arising from the 138 proceeding under the Negotiable Instrument Act. So all of you know that when a check is bounced, when if I gave you a check, it is bounced, you have a right to you have a dual remedy. Both in civil court, you can file a summary suit against me and recover the money, or you have a right to go to the criminal court under section 138 after giving me statutory notice under 138, 1 month's notice, if to pay the money, and if I don't pay the money in another 45 days time, you can file a complaint, private complaint under section 200. It's a summon procedure. So this was the case in Subramanyam Setu versus State of Maharashtra, which judgment was given 17 September. If you open it up, I will just briefly give the facts and come directly to the other two judgments, and we'll dispose it of today. Now, this is an appeal preferred from a criminal complaint pending before the Metropolitan Magistrate 33rd Court, Balatpur, Bombay, challenging the order made by the High Court, Bombay, in revision application filed by second respondent, where the High Court allowed the revision and set aside the court. So the facts given here, second respondent filed a complaint. So I will try to short it up here. I do not what's the Lamba judgment. More or less, this has followed Matthew judgment, concord with it. Now, in this judgment, a company under the Companies Act, all of you know that is a legal entity. It's a juristic personality. Apart from the company, the directors who are the agents, who are the trustees. So the complaint was lodged under 138 for bouncing of a check, dishonor of a check against the company as well as some directors. So one of the directors took up the plea before the court. The summons has been wrongly issued against me, and summons should be that I should be discharged. Then what happens here? At the time, judgment of K.M. Matthew was in force. Relying upon judgment of K.M. Matthew's case, the learned magistrate appeared to have discharged the accused. Then the learned magistrate, his order was challenged before the revisional court in Bombay High Court. Magistrate has no jurisdiction to try because there is a bar under section 362 CrPC. 362 was shown. 362 does not give provision to recall the order. Having passed the order, there is no power to discharge under the provisions of a summons trial. Then the Bombay High Court allowed the revision application. I do not know why the reason are not given here. Why the Bombay High Court has not distinguished the judgment of K.M. Matthew is not there. Please see that here. But rightly or wrongly, the High Court has invoked section 362. Because in K.M. Matthew, you may recall, section 362 was not the subject matter of discussion. I would say the judgment of the K.M. Matthew was per inquirium in that regard. The relevant provisions of law were not pointed out to the bench. So the judgment has no binding force. That is why it may have been rightly set aside by the subsequent bench. Then the company thereafter challenged the order of the session judge. So I'm sorry, it was the judgment of the session judge who went in revision under 397. Then the Bombay High Court, by order dated, rejected the petition on the ground that the magistrate plea of the accused pleads guilty. Magistrate is bound to take all such evidence, so and so. Magistrate to recall the process and discharge the accused after considering, or it is to be noted that there is no dispute regarding the fact that the plea of all the accused was recorded before. So the High Court agreed with the submission. Then about the order of the High Court dismissing the criminal writ petition was challenged before the Supreme Court. So it's totally altogether different matter compared to K.M. Matthew's case. Then when the matter went to Supreme Court, see, Mr. Gopal Subramaniam addressed the argument for some time. After noticing the observation made of the court, requested for permission to withdraw the SLP. So when he knew that section 362 is coming in his way, he withdrew the writ petition. Then withdraw karne ke baad, what is the remedy should have been? He should have filed a petition under section 482, which was not done. Instead of they filed a revision under 397. See, that is why when lawyers give the wrong sections in the court, the innings are prolonged and clients naturally suffer irreparable loss monetary wise. So it was the mistake of a Bombay lawyer. Instead of going for quashing under 482, he told them to go in revision application under 397. 397, the court has a limited jurisdiction. Please note that. Even the Sessions Court as well as the High Court. Then after withdrawing, then the lawyer of the appellant, he told the court, I would like to have the liberty to move the court under 482, which was opposed by the other side. Then see, it is to be noted that when the matter came up for hearing by the court on so and so, observe the decision of K.M. Matthews' case may require reconsideration. So at the time K.M. Matthew came for reconsideration, then see that Ranjit Kumar, learned senior counsel appearing for the appellant, contended the principle laid down in the Adalat Prasad case may require reconsideration because Adalat Prasad's case in the court proceeded on the footing the same was the summons case, but in reality it was a warrant case. So the contention raised in this matter before the Supreme Court was that Adalat Prasad's finding is not binding upon in Ramaswamy Setu's case, because Adalat Prasad's case in fact was a summons case where the judgment is recorded in respect of a warrant case which is not binding upon us. Though Supreme Court did not go much into it because they then the Supreme Court took the plea under 342. He submitted the fact that Adalat Prasad was a warrant case and K.M. Matthews so and so stage here. Having considered the argument so and so, Adalat Prasad requires reconsideration. Then K.M. Matthews' case held that required so and so. So in the light of this here, then in the meanwhile, you all know Adalat Prasad overrules K.M. Matthew. In the light of this, even this judgment, the Supreme Court has reaffirmed the findings of the Supreme Court in Adalat Prasad and dismissed the application of the appellant, holding that here there is a bar under 362, but since it's a warrant case, go before a magistrate under 245 or 239. Why you have to go to the revisional court? There is no need to go to revisional court under 397 or 401 when the magistrate himself has power to discharge in a warrant case. Abhi padhe humne 239 and 250 ke andar. So that was the contention before this. So in the light of this, Supreme Court rejected this matter but gave a liberty. You can go under 482 if you want. Since summons have been issued under 204, you can go under 482. That liberty was granted. In the light, the matter was disposed of. So Adalat Prasad was not disturbed here. Okay. Then the next judgment in that regard is I sent you is a Bhushan Kumar judgment. Oh, nikal lijiye, is a very important judgment. Bhushan Kumar takes a U-turn. Bhushan Kumar judgment is given by Justice P. Sadashivam and Justice Chemaleshwar. It's a division bench judgment, 2 judges. That is the judgment of 2. Is a very interesting matter. Bhushan Kumar, who is the son or relative of a Gulshan Kumar, who was a music director. All of you know that, no? So it appears that here, before the Delhi High Court, a complaint was filed by the relations of Gulshan Kumar, T series ka. Dekho paragraph. Starting here, New Delhi court ke andar summons so and so dated under 420. So 420 means it's a warrant tribal case. Under 420, the complaint was filed. Distribution of assets के बारे में, गुंशल कुमार के बारे में. The disputes arose between the parties, settle नहीं हुआ. After 4 years. Then on being informed, state has a charge sheet has been filed before the magistrate. That means police were investigating this case under 173, 154, filed a charge sheet. It's a warrant tribal case. Then it's a case triable by the magistrate on the basis of a police report. If that is so, magistrate issued the summons, then the High Court rejected the prayer for the appellant for quashing proceeding passed by the magistrate by the case way of a leave of the court. So when they came to the High Court said, why you came for quashing under Article 227 or 482 when there is an alternate remedy available to you under Section 239 and 245. Then Mr. Ranjit Kumar submission are here there. Then see 190 के बारे में discussion, 204 के बारे में. It appears they have not brought to the attention of this court the judgment of the court of Adalat Prasad case. So if you see, there is one observation made by this court, the Supreme Court, in this judgment. पैराग्राफ नंबर 8 के अंदर, under 190 of the court, the application of judicial mind to the government complainant cognizant at this stage, the magistrate has to be satisfied the sufficient case is made out. Then last two line, is there any sufficient ground empowered under 204? 204 issues process. Someone is proceeded by the court challenging. I won't be reading everything, just crux of the case. Then person summons are issued on the time, willful disobedience liable for quashing under 174. That is contempt of lawful. Then in section 204 does not mandate the magistrate to explicitly state the reasons for issuing summon. So magistrate is not supposed to give full reason. There is no fishing inquiry, brief order. That is still here so far fine. Then explicit reason. Then two, in Kanti Bandar's case, in Nagwa's case, they have discussed the power of the magistrate when issuing process under 204, which I am not disputing. That is the correct proposition, because magistrate is not bound to give detailed reasoning, but he has to give detailed reasoning when dismissing complaint under 203. But when he is issuing process under 204, he need not give detailed reasoning. Please note that. Then paragraph number 17 important. It is inherent in section 251 of the code. Please note that section 251 is applicable to summons cases. Please note that. They are discussing warrant case. 251 is commencing with the summons cases. Bear in mind. I am opening again 251. When you are reading, open your Bear Act, you come to know what section it is used. Yeah. 251, substance of the accused to be stated in trial of summons case. Now the Supreme Court is discussing in Kumar's case. See that it is inherent in section 254 of the court when the accused appears before the trial pursuant to summons issued under 204, the court of the summons trial, it is bound by the trial court to carefully go through the allegation made in the charge sheet or a complaint and consider the evidence to come to the conclusion whether or not commission of an offence is disclosed, and if the answer in the affirmative, magistrate should explain the substance of the accusation to the accused and ask him, oh sorry, oh एक मिनट, थोड़ा शिफ्ट हो गया. 17 ना, I'm reading. Yeah. Charge sheet, yeah. Where I am reading? Yes. Complain and consider the evidence to come to the conclusion whether or not commission of any offence is disclosed, and if the answer in the affirmative, magistrate shall explain the substance of the accusation to the accused and ask him whether he pleads guilty, otherwise he is bound to discharge the accused under 239. No, this is a mistake the Supreme Court bench in this case of Bhushan Kumar has made. Please note that section 239 comes into play. It's a discharge application. Please open CrPC. Comes into play in a trial of warrant cases by magistrate. 239. Whereas they are discussing section 251, which is a summon trial case. How summon trial case magistrate can invoke 239? So in my submission, with great respect, Supreme Court is wrong. Paragraph number 17 is wrong. It requires reconsideration. See, even the Supreme Court judges are human beings. They are capable of making mistake. This is palpably not correct in accordance with law. Because section 239 is applicable to only discharge in warrant cases, whereas they are discussing 251, which is applicable to summon cases where there is no provision for discharge. Please note down this. You can mention this. Then in conclusion, High Court in the petition under 482 is maintainable, cannot be accepted in view. So they are nowhere discussing about Adalat Prasad. So, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, it can also, even if you go through the judgment of the Supreme Court in Bhushan Kumar's case, which is of a lesser bench, that is a judgment of Justice Sadashivam and Chemleshwar, is contrary to the judgments given by the larger bench of the Supreme Court in two judgments right now we discuss, namely Adalat Prasad and Subramaniam Setu's case. They should not have given. This is a contrary opinion. So, according to me, not correct. Now, let us see the last judgment of Sibbal's case. You understood now this one? I am reserving the last for question answer. Iske baad. Let us see the last judgment of Arvind Kejriwal versus Amit Sibbal. ये खोल लीजिए. This will show some interesting light. Now, this is the recent judgment where two political party leaders, one is from AAP, another from Congress, Sibbal is from Congress, they are fighting in Delhi. See that respondent number one instituted a complaint. This is a judgment of Justice Mridha, single judge of the Delhi High Court. I'm sorry, Delhi High Court का judgment दिया मैं. Yes. Yes. Now again, yeah, this is 500 defamation case under 534 correctly filed. Petition challenge the summons within the meaning of 191A. The notice under 251 has not yet been framed in the case. In this case, view of the matter should be placed, raise the question forming 251. 251 के अंदर evidence to be recorded. Now in Krishna Kumar's case, the accused challenged the summons in the so and so. They quote, the appeal has been filed, impugn judgment. Then see in Bhushan Kumar के बारे में observation दिए हैं. So Bhushan Kumar has been followed here. So there is a mistake committed in the Supreme Court in the two bench judgment is being repeated by Delhi High Court. So according to me, when you invoke 251, you cannot invoke 239. So the High Court of Delhi also proceeding on the wrong footing in this matter. Then in Urshila Kerkar versus Make My Trip India also, this judgment of Bhushan Kumar has been referred to. Bhushan Kumar is two-judge bench. He is ignoring what was the law laid down in Adalat Prasad's case and Ram Setu's case. So then on the observations of the Bhushan Kumar, they are relying upon so much Bhushan Kumar. According to me, Bhushan Kumar requires reconsideration. Then see that they are discussing now here. It is no doubt true that para 8 check karo. The apex court in Adalat Prasad versus Rupal Jindal 2004-7 ruled that there cannot be recalling of the summons order. But seen in the background of the decision of the apex court in Bhushan Kumar case, that is a Krishna Kumar Supra, aforesaid decision cannot be misconstrued to mean that once summon order has been issued, then trial must follow. So if that means it is contrary to the observations of Adalat Prasad's case. If it so, then what is the purpose of hearing the accused at the stage of framing notice under 251 CrPC? In the consideration of opinion, the apex court decision in Adalat Prasad case cannot possibly be misread to mean that proceedings in a summons complaint case cannot be dropped against. So how can this Delhi High Court or a smaller bench of the Supreme Court go against Adalat Prasad, which clearly says that you cannot quash the proceeding. The magistrate has no recall proceeding. They say that under 251 magistrate has power. I'm sorry, it is incorrect. So with great respect, the power conferred under the magistrate at 254, 251, they cannot drop the discharge proceeding. Now let us see further. 251 shall be dealt with the trial court by passing reasonable order so that the petitioner may avail the remedies available in law if needed. Since the plea pertaining to 305 of the CrPC goes to the root of the matter, therefore, till the hearing of the point of the notice under 251, its concluded trial, the personal appearance of the petitioner is a good. So this court is proceeding in a different footing So there is a misconception of the law. Now they have invoked section 305 CrPC, which speaks of a procedure where corporation registered society is the accused. So, where the company is accused person, who are to be prosecuted? The directors, and in the case of registered society, the trustees. वो अलग बात है. But invoking section 351 in summon cases to discharge is not correct. So, in my opinion, the Bhushan Kumar judgment has created a conundrum in the legal circle. In my, that is not correct. Now, let us see further. What does the Supreme Court says? What does the Delhi High Court say? They are speaking about Bhalla's case. So, Learned Counsel, they are again invoking section 251. I will explain to you the scope of section 251, which is because this is again a warrant case. In a warrant case, you cannot invoke the provisions of summon provision. Then see, you can invoke 239 years, but not 251. 251 CrPC, the all paragraph they are invoking 251. I will again, yes, section 258 is invoked. This is only done in a summon trials. Power of the magistrate to drop proceeding after recording the evidence of principal accused. The magistrate is of the opinion and there is nothing, there is no substance in the maze, I will stop the proceeding. So he discharges the accused, he acquits the accused, which order amounts to acquittal. So recording of the evidence is an element there. But whereas under 227 in a session trial, 239 and 245 in a warrant case trial before magistrate, normally evidence is not recorded. But when you come under section 251 magistrate in a summon trial, evidence is to be recorded. Under 258, evidence is to be recorded. So there is therefore confusion in the mind of judges, with great respect in understanding the true meaning of interpretation of Adalat Prasad's case and the provisions of section 362 CrPC, which completely bars. It says that you cannot review. Let the parliament legislate, amend the CrPC. Why the parliament has not given review powers to criminal courts, God knows. Because the parliament was under the impression that summon cases can be disposed of earlier. That is why they are not. In my opinion, the section 362 needs amended. All criminal courts should be given review powers, like the civil courts are given review powers under section 114 and order 47 of the Code of Civil Procedure. Otherwise, this legal conundrum and confusion will continue lifelong. So, in my submission, even the judgment of the Delhi High Court as well as the Supreme Court in Bhushan Kumar is not a correct proposition of law, which is, according to me, I would say that here, they are per inquirium, having not taken into consideration the law laid down by the larger bench. Unless the larger bench is set aside by a constitution bench of 5 bench, single judges and Delhi High Court judges or lower court judges cannot take they are just construing the provisions of law, summon trial and warrant trial in their own way they want. It cannot be done. That means the CrPC is not correctly being understood by many of them, but they are applying their own mind. With due respect, not correct. So the law, you write it down here. When a warrant session trial, in a session trial, the session judge has power to discharge even before recording evidence. In a warrant trial under section 227, in a trial before a magistrate in a warrant case on a police report under section 239, magistrate can discharge without recording evidence. Is a discretion not record. In under section 245, in a trial of a warrant case in otherwise than in a warrant case, the magistrate has power to discharge after recording or without recording evidence if it's at a discretion. But in a summons case under section 251 or 258, the magistrate has no power to discharge without recording evidence. Please note that here. It is mandatory. The power will be with the High Court under 482, or power will be with the Session Court under 397, or with the High Court under 401. So, as a young student of law, young lawyer, when you enter the profession, you should know the distinction between the inherent power of the High Court, the revisional power of the Session Court, revisional power of the High Court, and 362, whether the criminal courts have review power or not. So I pointed out under 362, the criminal courts have no power to review. Now you open the CPC section 114. I am comparing and giving you the contrary point of view. The civil courts have power of review. Please open section 114. Review section 114 CPC. Subject aforesaid, any person considering himself agreed by decree and order which appeal is allowed, this court, but no appeal has been preferred, decree so and so allowed, by decision or conference of a small cause court, may apply for review of the judgment of the court which passed the decree or made the order, and the court may make such. I mean, the same court you can go for review. Review is presented before the same judge. If there is no judge, same court. But 362 CrPC tells you no such. I'll read it last me. Now I come to order 47 CPC. Order 47. Now kindly see review. Application for review of judgment. Any person considering himself aggrieved by a decree or order from which an appeal is allowed but from which no appeal has been preferred. So if you want to go for review before the same judge, the order should not have been challenged in appeal under section 96 or under section 100 or under 104. Number one. Number three. Number two. By a decree or order made which where no appeal is allowed. So some of the provisions do not allow appeal under the provisions of section 104 and 101 order 43. Then see, by a decision of a reference of a small cause court and from the discovery of new and important matter on evidence which after the exercise of due diligence was not within the knowledge or could not be produced by him at the time when the decree was passed, order made, the account of mistake, error apparent in the face of the record, or any sufficient cause desires to obtain the review, the court pass or the order may be made apply to the review judgment of the court which passed it. So every civil court which has passed the order, if the order according to the party may discover subsequently that the judge has not taken into consideration certain important decision documents, there is an error apparent on the face of the record, you may go to the same judge. My lord, reconsider your order, recall your order, please review it. He has got powers both under 114 and order 47. Now again you see section 362 CrPC, whether such power are there with the magistrate or criminal court. Please open again 362 to understand the concept here. (362) Court not ought to alter judgment, save as otherwise provided by this court or by any other law for the time being in force. No court means criminal courts, when it has signed its judgment, no including magistrate court, session court, even the high court has signed the judgment or final order disposing of the case, shall alter or review the same, except correcting clerical arithmetical error. अगर पार्टीज का नाम गलत लिखा हुआ है, डेट रॉन्ग रखे हैं, some dates are not correctly done, they can correct it, but not the judgment. They don't have power like a civil court under the provisions of section 114 and order 47 for setting aside the entire order on the ground that there is an error apparent on the face of the record, some discovery of important facts, some discovery of judgment, there is a non-application of mine. Criminal courts hands are tied. So your remedy is, please note that in case of a magistrate's court, go under section 397, which I read out in revision, or come to the High Court under 401, or come to the High Court under 482, or come to the High Court under 227. Remember these remedies. This is very important. So, in the light of the discussion which we have from after observing the judgment of the Supreme Court in K.M. Matthews case, Adalat Prasad's case, then Subramaniam Seturaman's case, and Bhushan Kumar's case, and Arvind Kejriwal versus Sibal's case, it is clear that somewhere there is a legal conundrum. In the interpretation, the courts are misunderstanding what is the procedure in a warrant trial, what is the procedure in a summon trial with regard to quashing or with regard to discharge of the accused. According to me, these judgments of Adalat Prasad, Setu's case, Kejriwal's case, and especially Bhushan Kumar case requires reconsideration. It should be sent to a larger bench, 5 judges who will decide the matter. This is my humble opinion. In fact, you as a young student of law can recommend to the law commission, to the parliament, and write an article. So this requires, you can also take my name, my professor has taught this, who is also a practicing lawyer. I will stand by you. Yes, the judgment requires reconsideration. There is a misconception in the judicial mind, even today, which is prevailing. And I will tell you there are many such judgments. This is not the only judgment where the courts are faltering. Courts are giving a conflicting judgment. There are many judgments, as with the passage of time, I'll point out to you. Okay, I want to end up today on this note after taking your questions. Now, please ask me your question, फटाफट, we'll deal with it. बताइए, कोई question तो. Hopefully, you understood the concept and the judgment. And anybody has any question, please ask me. नहीं पूछना है किसी को. Either you understood completely or you have not understood anything. दो में से एक. So which statement should I take it as true? All of you understood the case?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Again, if you have any problem, please read the judgments which I have given you. Read tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, you ask me question. I will be delighted to have questions from you. So I like to have the student should do introspection. You should be very probative minded. As a student of law, you should do proper research. You must be more enthusiastic. Research karne ka. If you want to be a good lawyer, you must investigate into every case. Just don't read cases which are helpful to your case. Just read judgment which also go against your case. Point out the judgment to the courts which are against you, which are for you, which requires clarification, judgments which are having overlapping view, judgments which are rendered per inquirium, judgments which are not considered the views of the other larger benches. बहुत सारे हैं. So उसका research कीजिए. I am doing my little mite and आप लोग भी contribution कीजिए. Okay. I would like to wind up today's lecture subject to taking question answer from you. I am waiting for another 2 minutes. बताइए question. नहीं रहेगा तो, and we'll say goodbye tonight and meet up day after tomorrow with other topics which I will share tomorrow. And students are at liberty to tell me, sir, please take up this topic. Tomorrow inform me. I will come up with it. Otherwise, I am going with my own procedure and how it is followed in the court of law. Now you understood, we are going in a basically sequence of order in a chronological manner how the matter goes on in the court of law. So if you want me to can I teach in a different manner also, I am prepared to do that. If you have a particular special topic in your mind, बताइए. So what lecture I will be taking day after tomorrow, I will decide tomorrow, because at the moment I won't be able to think it. So Ashutosh Kumar, सब clear? Everything understood? कुमार नहीं बता रहे अभी. हाँ? All right, no? Oh,
yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir,
please get these lectures uploaded by tomorrow. See, I come to know, because before preparing for the new lecture, I should come to know what I covered. because so many things I'm reading for the court matters, ये matter बाद में भूल जाएंगे. So if you can upload earlier, I'll be grateful to you. Huh? If you want some assistance of some other student, ले लीजिए. In case you are busy sometime, you can request other student to cooperate and help you. Coordination करो. So uploading a little earlier makes easier for everybody. Student can also go through, and I can also peruse it. I can prepare my other lecture because I had to do research and lot of judgments. समझे ना? So what judgments I have to cover next, I will come to know. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for the patient hearing. Let us meet up day after tomorrow, and good night, everybody. Okay. Chalo. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.